Right, I think we're live now. Woo, doggy. What is going on, beautiful people? I hope and pray y'all are doing phenomenally well. Sorry, I was a few minutes late. I was trying to get my microphone stuff set up. I couldn't get my audio going. But anywho, I am super excited to be doing this live with Daniel today. And we are going to be talking about dispositions and actually finding true end buyers for your wholesale deals. I think this is very powerful. At least it is for me because I've been in the industry actively doing wholesaling for 6 years now. And dispositions over just these last 6 years have completely changed. And I think it's one of those things where everybody talks about, hey, go out there, get the deal, get the deal, get the deal. And I'm guilty of that sometimes too, but not knowing that actually wholesaling that deal or finding a true end buyer for that deal is the other flip side of that coin. And so many investors get stuck here. And yeah, I think that that's where investor base comes in. And y'all, I'm excited about this because it's kind of my secret sauce. All right. and this is actually a tool and a platform that I personally use. One thing that I'm really big on is showing y'all what I'm actually using today in 2025 in my business to help me close more deals and stay on top of my game. So long introduction, but anywho, Daniel, what's up, Big Papa?
What's up, brother? Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. I am extremely, extremely happy to have you because I think that what y'all do for investors and on the disposition side is honestly second to none. And I've been with other platforms as well. And so definitely thank y'all for what y'all do. And I'm just curious too. I was wondering this, like, what inspires y'all to start Investor Base?
Yeah, good question. Well, I'm really not a tech guy, Clifford. You know, my partner is on the tech side. I'm a real estate guy. I majored in commercial real estate. I did commercial brokerage for 3 years, and then my brother started wholesaling to some institutional buyers, and I just kind of saw the writing on the wall there. I was like, man, I need to ride this wave. So, long story short, got into wholesaling in 2021. Scaled very quickly, solely sourcing deals for institutional buyers nationwide. So 4 acquisition agents in-house, office on King Street here in downtown Charleston. We thought we were kicking ass, excuse me. And had a pretty robust operation, man. We did a lot of deals in a short amount of time. And then the market changes like it always does. And, rates went up. And so at that point in time, we were so leveraged into institutional buyers that we had never sold a deal to a local flipper landlord before. So it kind of hit us like a freight train, dude. I remember we had like 30 deals under contract and terminated 13 in one day with one phone call. Yeah, it was tough. And so at that point, we looked out in the market and we were like, how are we going to identify buyers, right? We didn't have a buyer's list. We'd never been to any network meetings because we thought we were better than that because we were just sourcing institutional buyers. So we turned to, the available stuff out there. There's some expensive options, which is fine. Those can work well. And then there's the low hanging fruit, which was pulling together essentially a cash buyers list, right?
Yeah.
Which historically is what 90% of wholesalers do out there. So, you're going to go pull together a cash buyers list. You're going to find the flips, find the landlords, find the LLC, skip trace, find the registered agent, skip trace the person, then call them, right? And so we started doing that. And what we realized is it was super inefficient. We were spending a ton of time. We're still spending a lot of money to skip trace. So ultimately, we built Investor Base for ourselves. We had to JV a lot of deals. We were splitting them 50-50. And it was just unsustainable for our business because my acquisition managers were like, Daniel, I'm still doing the same amount of work, but now I'm making half as much. Like, you got to fix this, right? So we had to figure out how to go and find our own buyers and sell our own deals. So that is what we did. And so we launched Investor Base in April of last year, 2024. Clifford, you might be paused, brother. I'm not sure if that's you or me. Clifford, you got me? I'm going to try and jump out and come back in. Oh, hopefully Clifford comes back in.
There we go.
All right.
You with me?
Yeah, I got you. Was that you or me?
No, that was me. Our power literally just shut out, and I don't know why. So
No way.
all the studio lighting and everything went out. So I connected to our hotspot. So we'll see how this works.
Well, I was still in there. I just finished up saying, so we launched Investor Base in 2024.
Nice. I think it's incredible to note too that some of the best and most impactful platforms all come from actual investors solving their own problems and bottlenecks that they have within their own company and organization.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's exactly what y'all did here. Because too, a lot of people don't even realize that it takes a lot of time to go to those networking events, have those conversations, try to build out that buyers list. And it's almost like you said, not efficient to some degree. Now, yes, I'm a big believer that real estate is a relationship-based business and you should definitely be building those relationships. But sometimes we don't need to be spending all of our wheels going to networking events where we're doing more of that than actual talking to sellers and getting the deals. And I think the platform allows me to spend more time on the things that matter the most. And that's actually talking to sellers and solving their problems. And then I can go and know with confidence that nationwide I can go get access to buyers without spending hours and hours going to all these networking events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So,
And there's always been a disparity between how much time and resources is allocated towards acquisitions versus dispositions, right? Like if you're going to a networking event to find buyers, that's fine, more power to you. But
yeah,
you're not going door knocking to find sellers, right? You're going to spend money to get lead generation. You're going to spend more time to find the deals. So I would say that's another challenge in today's market is a lot of people just aren't spending enough time or resources in the disposition side of the business, which is 50% of the battle.
yeah. And then even too, what I like is that having the platform is it almost eases people's mind because I can't tell you how many new investors I talk to that are genuinely afraid to get properties under contract because they're like, what if I can't find an end buyer for them? Or what if I can't move them? And so y'all basically eliminate one of the biggest fears or hurdles that people are having. I would love if you're open to it to kind of share the platform if you want and kind of highlight some of its features and what it can do. And y'all, this isn't just a hype video for investor base. I genuinely use the platform. Y'all know that I've started in Atlanta market. Y'all, I don't know anything about Atlanta. I didn't need to know the whole layout of the land, right? I didn't need to go to thousands of networking events. Literally, when we get deals out there, I use investor base to find the end buyers. It's just that simple. It allows me to jump into other markets a lot quicker and easier.
Yeah, 100%, man. And happy to share. You want me to go ahead and just share my screen?
Yeah, I'm down if you are.
You know I'm down.
Mhm.
All right, let's see if I can get access here. All right, you got me?
There it goes.
Cool. So yeah, welcome to Investor Base. This is a disposition software for wholesalers. So high level, what you get when you come to Investor Base is we give you access to an estimated 10 million investors nationwide, which is great. But what we know and what you know as investors is 10 million people are not going to offer on your deal, right? So what we do at Investor Base is we identify the most likely buyers for your deal based on their transaction history. Okay. Some common problems that we eliminate at Investor Base that people have historically had is one, the time that we just touched on. So the 4, 5, 6, 7-step process that I kind of broke down a second ago, we do that in one click of a button. On the other end of the coin, a common issue that a lot of people have is finding a qualified buyer for your deal, right? So when you're asking the question in your head, how do I know if this person's legit or not, right? More often than not, people are running into fake buyers. They're running into JV wholesalers that are just trying to daisy chain their deal, realtors that are trying to be a wholesaler, tire kickers who've never done a deal. So what we do at Investor Base is we only provide you with buyers that have done a deal. Okay. You can't get here unless you've done a transaction, right? So I want to make that crystal clear. Another thing that Clifford mentioned that we'll jump into here is the analytics that we provide to you give you a confidence interval of whether this deal is going to work or not, based on the prices that buyers are actually paying for deals around you. Okay. So excited to share this with you guys. We can just run a search. You got a deal you want to run, Clifford, or you want me to just zoom in and find a random address?
1661. No, what is it? 619. I'm sorry. 619 East Miller Road.
Texas?
Yeah, in Garland.
Cool. Okay. So we'll run a non-disclosure one, and then we'll run a disclosure one where we can lean into the pricing a little bit more. Because pretty simple functionality here. Okay. So type in the subject property, the address you're trying to sell, or it can be a lead in your system, right? What we're going to do, we're going to span the mileage out. I'm going to keep it on 2 miles. We're going to keep it on 1 year. If it was more rural, we can span these out to identify more buyers. But for now, we're going to leave it here. And what we're doing with these filters is we're going to be identifying real flip and buy and hold transactions that have actually occurred. Property types, we have everything from single family to land. So we can identify a specific buyer if you're trying to sell a specific product type, right? We can identify only flippers or landlords if you want. When we turn on skip trace and save results, this is going to save the deal to the My Deal section, but it's also going to provide the contact information for these buyers for free. Okay. So there's no additional step or cost for skip tracing, right? I don't know where this is, so I'm going to span this out 3 miles just in case. We can always back it up more if we need to. So what the software is doing is we are taking that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-step process that we used to do, and now we do that in about 5 seconds. Okay. Nice. So what we just did is we just produced 191 results for flip and buy and hold transactions that have actually occurred around the deal that you're trying to sell, right? Yeah. So the blue icon is going to indicate a fix and flip deal. And the green icon is going to indicate a buy and hold by a landlord. Okay. So when we click into a flipper icon, here's the information we get back. We get the subject property that was flipped. We get the specs of that property. We do not provide a person sale price in non-disclosure states because that data is limited, being non-disclosure. But the functionality still works the same to identify whether it was a flip or not, right? So we get the specs, when they bought it, when they sold it, turn time, and I'll show you one with contact information here. So click into this one right next door. This is probably the closest one to your deal. I mean, this is 1 street over. This guy did this flip on Seneca Drive, bought it in January, sold it in February. So this was either a wholesale or really quick flip here. What we see also, we get back on this card is the entity information. So we see DFW Home Solutions, Brandon Elias. We have his mobile 1, mobile 2, landline 1, possible email. All right. So what we're doing here, and by the way, the only difference in information that you get on a landlord card is their number of linked properties and their portfolio value.
I love it. And I want to point out too, for everybody to know, because I've used other platforms as well to try to dispo, and why I truly believe that Investor Base is one of the best, and I would venture to say the best, is because they give you all of that information and they're not even nickel and diming you. It's insane how, like, some of these other platforms, if you want the actual contact number, well, they're going to charge you. Like, the skip tracing is included. Like, you get to see who is actually moving and grooving, who's actually buying deals, who's actually buying properties, how many properties they have. Like, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, for sure. There's no add-ons in the service. It's a base subscription fee, and then we don't charge you extra to download this list. So if you wanted to download this and pop it into a dialer, you do that there pretty simply. No extra cost for skip tracing. So what we're doing here is, what we're looking at is a bulk list of real investment transactions that have occurred. So we're making an assumption at Investor Base. The assumption is the fact that this person did a deal nearby recently. The fact that he did a deal nearby recently is going to be interested in the deal that I'm trying to sell. That's the assumption that we make. And more often than not, that assumption is true. Right?
Yeah.
So real quick, what we do over here on this right side list view is really probably the secret sauce of Investor Base. This will save you the most time outside of the search we just ran. And this allows you to prioritize the buyers that you should be calling out of this list. So what we've done with this whole right side list view is we've ranked all of these buyers from most likely to buy your deal at the top to least likely to buy your deal at the bottom. And nice. We're doing that. We're taking the deal that you're trying to sell, you're on middle of the road, and we're matching it to the deal that they did, say this one here on Morris Drive, right? So we're taking into account a ton of variables here about the deal they did, right? So like similar square footage, proximity, time, how many deals have they actually done? What price did they pay? Yada, yada, yada. Plenty of other factors to determine, is this a good buyer for me, right? So if we clicked on this one over here on Morris Drive, I just clicked on the Zillow link, price unknown because it's non-disclosure state, but we see pretty quick, beautifully renovated property in Garland, Texas. Don't have pictures here, but 100% a flip, right?
All right.
So because Melissa did a flip nearby recently, she's doing multiple deals. We see the 2 icon. She's done one there. She's done one right here. We're going to make the assumption that she's going to be interested in this deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the meat and potatoes of Investor Base right there. That search functionality will really save you so much time, and it saved a ton of our users a lot of time in their dispo process. But there's a lot of other stuff you can do here that we won't fully jump into. Like if we thought Melissa was a great buyer, we want to add her to our buyers list, you simply click a button. And now while we're selling the deal, we are building a buyers list, right? Exactly. So this is where all the buyers, real buyers based on the fact that they've done it, right? So even what we just did, when we click into Melissa's buy box here, where we can edit her buy box, you see that we just programmatically pulled in, what's that, 8 zip codes, 3 different counties and 5 cities that she's actually buying in based on her transaction history. So you don't even have to ask her, hey, where are you buying? We already know that based on we just added her to our list, right?
Exactly.
So yeah. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's game changing. And I think people don't even realize, like, with just this platform, it also allows me to create extra opportunities, because when other newer wholesalers or new investors come to me that they can't find buyers, well, I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I can JV with you because I have access to buyers nationwide. Can you show, because I'm in a non-disclosure state, Texas mostly. Could you show one where they have the pricing?
Yeah, for sure. You said you were in Atlanta at one point, right?
Yeah.
You love this area over here, don't you? East Point, West End. I've done a few flips over there. That's why I mentioned it. I've done some bad flips over there. I've done some decent flips, but it is a rough, tough spot, I'd say. Let's just run this randomly. Giddings Drive, Southwest Atlanta. All right. So I've never been to this house, but let's say we have this under contract, or let's say it's a lead, right? And we think the seller, we're not sure if this is really the deal or not, right? But it's a lead in the system. The seller wants to sell, but we think we might be off on pricing. Let's run this search, and I'll show you what we do at Investor Base to help you analyze the deal with real data. Okay. So when we run the search, we see that the defaults to analytics, right? And what we're able to see is a quick look into what flippers are actually paying and what landlords are actually paying. Now, if you're going to lean into anything here, I would lean into the average price per square foot. The landlords is way off here because there's probably a portfolio sale. So take those with a grain of salt. But where we dive in deep is with investor comps. So when you click into the subject property, we see that Gideon's Drive Southwest is a 2-bed, 1-bath, about 1,100 square feet. So what we're doing at Investor Base is we are pulling in other like-kind transactions that have occurred to produce a likely investor price that an investor would likely pay for this house, right? So this isn't the after repair value. This isn't, hey, let's go take ARV minus repairs, minus 75%, whatever your equation is. This is, hey, what are buyers actually paying for deals around me that are similar, right? So what we have the ability to do, we can load in more comps here. So we see a 3-bed, 2-bath. That's probably why it was sold for higher. So we want to take that out. I only want to look at 1 bath here. That one's a little bit bigger. So we can filter out the comps that we don't want to pull in. But as you see here, we're pulling in all 2-bed, 1 baths, all within the last year, all within about 200 square feet of this house, all around a mile to 1.5 miles.
Yeah.
Right. So what this does is it gives us a confidence interval when we're about to go under contract or make an offer to the seller. This is a quick look into, hey, what are buyers actually paying for deals? Right. You see 135, 125, bigger house, 3 beds, 250, 170, 140, 145.
And in my mind, y'all, when I see that number of what investors are actually paying, it lets me know if I have a deal or not, right? So if I know that I have the property under contract at 200,000 or 210, but the average is, 190 that they're paying, I know that I might have a little bit of a hard time selling that deal. Now, if I have that property under contract at 150, then that tells me in my mind, oh, this should be a good steak dinner and a good bottle of bourbon kind of payday.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I say I think that this is one of the absolute best platforms, because what it does more for me than the actual dispo. It shows me and tells me, okay, do I really have a deal? Right. So there's so many other ways to go with it. Sean asks, does it work in California? I know the answer to that, but I'd like you to check.
We have a lot of California users. Yeah. It works everywhere. Yeah. There's really no geographical limitations to the software. I mean, we're in all 50 states. So wherever you have a property, we can help you sell that and identify good buyers for your deal.
So y'all, I definitely think that this is a platform everybody should jump on. And again, I'm not just saying that, it is what I am actively using today within our business in 2025, y'all. Whether you're a new wholesaler just getting started or you haven't even done a deal yet, this will help you get there, because once you get a deal, how are you going to dispo it, right? You can even see, especially based on some of the numbers, and know, do you even have a deal, etc. So no, I highly recommend it. In fact, we have a link that'll be in the description for you to get a free trial. And if I'm not mistaken, $100 off or something like that on the first month, right?
Yep.
That they're doing for the community, y'all. So definitely try it out and start scaling what you're doing.
100%. I actually saw 2 flips that we've done. So Hawks Real Estate is me. This was a tough one here. I'll tell that story another time. It was a long deal. And then this is mine as well that we flipped last year. We're still doing some flips.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So guys, it's
no.
Go ahead, Clifford.
No, I was gonna say I love it. I love it, brother. I appreciate you being so generous with your time and hopping on and sharing a little bit about the platform with the community and with the audience. I think it's a game changer for so many people, and I appreciate y'all doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And for anyone interested in watching this video, I would highly recommend booking a one-on-one call with our team. You can do that at the homepage. So definitely use the link and feel free to start the trial. We have people sell deals during the trial all the time with a handful of phone calls, right? But if you're really serious about taking full advantage of the software, you must book a call with our team, because we'll show you certain things like how many results should you get, right? Based on percent duplicates, based on transactions, based on our average skip trace numbers, based on what the average call to contact ratio is, which is about 15 to 20%. We'll dive into your current business, your operations, to help implement this basically tomorrow, because we know that there's a certain amount of time that needs to be allocated to the dispo department, right? So being able to help you with your cadences, like, hey, is this a double call voicemail text? Is this a double call text? What does the text say? What do I say when I talk to buyers? We help you with all that, right? So you can go and use the link to do the 14-day free trial. Some of the results will be limited, right? But really highly recommend that you book that one-on-one call with the team so we can really show you in deep everything that we got here, right? We got a few other sections that we didn't even get a chance to cover.
I like it. So y'all definitely recommend booking the call, doing the free trial, and definitely diving into it for sure. But now